Most people think a spiritual awakening is peaceful, but the truth is, it can feel like destruction. Relationships fall apart. Old beliefs shatter. Your sense of self burns away. What once felt stable suddenly collapses, leaving nothing but questions in the silence. It's not a gentle path toward light, it's a storm that tears away everything false. And this is why most people never make it through to the other side. A spiritual awakening is not about finding comfort. It's about stripping away the lies you've carried for years. The identity you built, the beliefs you clung to, even the people you thought would always stay in your life, all of it gets shaken. For many, this feels like losing everything. The career that once defined you suddenly feels meaningless. The hobbies you loved no longer bring joy. Even conversations with friends and family feel empty, like you're speaking two different languages. And when you begin to question everything, religion, politics, money, even the idea of success, the people around you often see it as rebellion. They label you as confused, broken, or even dangerous. But what they don't understand is that you're not falling apart, you're being forced to wake up. This is why most people don't survive their awakening. Not because it kills them, but because it demands a death, the death of who they thought they were. And letting go of that false self is the hardest thing a human being can do. After the first cracks appear, the journey grows darker. This stage is often called the dark night of the soul. It feels like being trapped between two worlds. The old life doesn't fit anymore, but the new one hasn't yet revealed itself. The silence becomes unbearable. Days blur together, and nights feel endless. Your mind races with questions: who am I now? What's real? What if I never find peace again? Fear takes over in subtle ways. It tells you you're losing control. It whispers that you're broken, or worse, that you've gone too far to ever come back. And in that shadow, many people collapse. Some bury themselves in distractions, endless scrolling, constant work, or unhealthy habits, anything to numb the emptiness inside. Others cling desperately to their old life, trying to fit back into roles and routines that no longer match who they are. But no matter how hard they try, it all feels hollow, like wearing someone else's skin. The dark night of the soul isn't punishment. It's a test. It strips away illusions until nothing false remains. It demands you walk through the fire, even when every part of you wants to turn back. And this is the stage that breaks most people, because it feels like the end. But for those who endure, this is where the first signs of transformation appear. For those who survive, the transformation begins quietly. It doesn't happen all at once. Instead, life starts to feel lighter. The fear that once consumed them loses its grip. Old attachments and false identities that once defined them no longer have power. Suddenly, clarity emerges. Choices become simpler, not because life is easier, but because the mind is no longer cluttered by what isn't true. Relationships that remain are deeper, more authentic. The world no longer feels like a cage. Those who endure discover a strength they never knew existed. They learn to navigate uncertainty without panic, to find peace in silence, and to trust in something far larger than themselves. Their perception of life shifts. They are no longer merely surviving, they are truly awake. But here's the secret most people miss: this awakening doesn't end. It's not a final destination. It's a path that keeps stretching, revealing deeper truths, greater challenges, and higher states of consciousness than anyone could have imagined before stepping into the fire. Surviving a spiritual awakening teaches lessons that can't be learned any other way. You learn that the universe is not as it appears. That fear is a tool, not an enemy. That true freedom is letting go of everything that isn't you. You learn to listen to your intuition, trust your inner guidance, and step into experiences that once terrified you. And as you rise, you realize the people, places, and beliefs you once clung to were never meant to define you. They were the training grounds for something far greater. This is why the journey is so lonely for most. They look around for guidance or reassurance, but few can truly understand what it takes to survive the awakening. And those who don't survive never reach this level of insight, they remain trapped in the storm, repeating the same cycles of fear and illusion. Most people never survive their spiritual awakening because they fear the unknown, because they cling to what is familiar, because they stop before the transformation is complete. But what if surviving isn't the end of the journey? What if the real awakening begins only after you've faced the darkness, and there's a level of consciousness waiting that most people will never even glimpse? And here's the question no one asks: are you ready to go that far? Because beyond this point, everything you thought you knew about reality will be challenged, and nothing will ever be the same.